Tom, thanks so much for coming out and joining us here this evening. I know with the inclement weather and your travels, it's probably sometimes challenging, but we're glad you made it.
It wasn't so bad. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. Maybe we can start off at the beginning, so to speak, and tell us a little bit about your entree into the music industry and how music found you, or you found music.
Well, like a lot of kids, I just dreamed about playing most of my life. I wanted to be Elvis, like everybody else in the South that was born when I was. And when I got out of school, a couple of years after I got out of college, I went to Nashville to try my hand, and here I am.
I'm sure there was something in between. How was it initially moving to Nashville and trying to find your way into the scene there?
It was scary. I came from a very rural area in South Alabama, and Nashville was so much a legendary place, Even though it wasn't a big city, it's much bigger now. But this was 30 years ago. And
you started off writing for yourself, performing, writing for others?
Well, I didn't really differentiate at first. I mean, to me, I didn't have any sense of wanting to be a professional songwriter. I just wanted to make music. But when I got there, over a period of the first couple of years that I was there, I began to get the idea that I might be able to write songs that other people might record. But, I mean, truthfully, I've just always written songs I love for myself, and sometimes other people want to sing them too, and that's kept me going, I've made a living.
And I know you've had success in TV and film as well. Was that something that just sort of found you, or is that something that was consciously you were seeking out?
It found me. It's just like I think part of the task is looking for where the doors open. And, I say, where's the red carpet rolled out? That's where I want to go, instead of taking the Jack Nicholson and The Shining approach to the bathroom door, And I've just had some opportunities in that way. So, of course, I've tried to take advantage of them, but it wasn't something I set out to do.
And at this point, is that of continued interest to you, or is it a situation where if somebody else continues to find you in the TV or film industry, you're fine with it, but not necessarily seeking it out?
Well, that's an interesting question, because for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been my own publisher after working with publishers for a long time, and I've discovered that. As I told my wife the other day, I don't think anyone's going to come over and look in my drawer for new songs. So I'm going to have to make them a little more available.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, with any kind of art, I think when you introduce money, I teach songwriting a lot now.
Right.
And students will say, well, how can I do this to make a living? And I say, think twice, because if you are fortunate enough to do it for a living, once you start taking money for your art, there's a new challenge.
Right.
And that is
keeping your art pure.
Keep your heart, keep your soul, and balance, what the Buddhists call right work with the practicality of feeding your family.
Yeah. And let's go a little deeper on sort of, I guess, writing and singing from your heart, because your music is very soulful, spiritual. Where does that, is that your upbringing? Does that come from anywhere within, or?
Well, I think I was blessed in that there were some strong seeds sown when I was a child. I was dragged to church, and I grew up in the Episcopal Church in Alabama, but I went around the world to find the heart of that tradition, which I love now.
Yeah.
But there are other traditions that have been rich for me too, and I don't know, what makes a seeker a seeker. I think it's a longing, really.
Yeah.
There's something. To me, that's just.
That's
what I call grace. That's what I call grace. It's just something tugging on you, and you just gotta. If you try to ignore it, it's misery. So,
you gotta let it out.
Yeah.
And lastly, just tell us a little bit about your influences today, or who you're listening to, other folks you respect out there in the music industry.
There have been a lot of people that have influenced me over the years. I can tell you, when I first started writing songs, there were 2 singer-songwriters who were my idols, and one was a Nashville writer named Mickey Newberry. Mickey was a contemporary of Willie Nelson and Roger Miller and Chris Christopherson and those guys who were kind of ruling Nashville as
Right.
I guess you call them like the Nashville Rat Pack or whatever, before there was an outlaw movement.
Right.
Yeah, but Mickey was something really special about Mickey. He was a real poet, and he made a bunch of records, some really fine records. He passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And the other one was Jesse Winchester.
Oh yeah.
And Jesse was from Memphis, but of course went to Canada during Vietnam and he's living back in the South now.
Yeah.
Happy to say.
Real talent.
But I've, in some ways, maybe tried too hard to emulate those guys. But when I was learning to write, my voice was similar, you know. But you know, I love all kinds of styles of music, and amongst my peers that I really love, I'm a big Pierce Pettis fan.
Yeah, we are too.
Dana Cooper, Buddy Monlott, guys I work with a lot. Sally Barris, I'm a particular fan of Sally's. There are a lot of great singer-songwriters out there working. And then the old pros, the really famous folks, you know, I mean, I just have a lot of reverence for Paul Simon and Joni Mitchell and those folks.
Yeah. Well, we're just glad there are folks like you that are still out doing it and are willing to come and play with us here. So we're looking forward to the show.
This is great. This is a beautiful setting I love house concerts. And when they're well put together like this one, it's a joy.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.